Let's talk competition. Brutal competition. The brutal competition when you want to do business in China. Hi everyone, my name is Eric Balan and I am your local economist here in China. In this video, which is the third installation or the third video for this series of Ask Me China, I explained a little bit on my second observation that I made in the first video, and that is on the brutality of the competition that you are going to face while doing business in China. Now, I've already mentioned this before, I'm going to mention it again, that China is huge. It's very, very big. And competition is also very big. It's very brutal to a point that if you are there at the very beginning, then gains are for you. But if you're slow to the party, then gains are still available, but still it will be very, very slow. So I want to share with you the statistics that I have about the competition here in China, and then after that I'm going to tell you how do you actually go about surviving this brutality or this beating that you are going to get while you're doing business in China. And then I will end the video by sharing with you my tips that I use or I used to use in deciding whether that will be the right landscape or right business to actually enter into. So let's start off with the statistics. In China, there are 12,000 new businesses or startups that are created every single day. I repeat, 12,000 new startups that are created every single day in China. And most of these startups are $1 million valuation. They come from agriculture technology, they come from clean technology, they are finance technology, they are O2O, they are from the banking sector, you name it. They are there presenting their case, presenting their business model, presenting something which is useful to develop the entire country. 12,000 a day, that is huge, massive. Now the second statistics that I want to share with you is that 50% of the world's economic growth happens smack here in China. China contributes 50% to the global economy. Everybody wants to come to China and do business. That's a fact. Now the third one that I want to share with you is that with the high-speed growth that China is experiencing right now, 60% of the global startup, I'm going to read this for you, 60% of the global startup are Chinese unicorns. Imagine that 60% of global startup are actually Chinese unicorn, and these are players like Didi, Alibaba, Tencent, and the whole works that you can actually think of. Anything that you are using from an app or on a mobile phone point of view, it's all China oriented, right? That's the third the statistics I want to share with you. There's a fourth statistics that I'm talking here is there are 15,000 new funds, financial assistance that is now available in China. That's a lot of resource to tap on, financial resource that you can tap on to actually grow, boom, expand, do whatever crazy things that you want to do about your business, because money is easily available here. Now the next statistics is that there are 5,000 incubators in China. You can come, enroll yourself here, get to learn the trades, the tips of the trade, and whatever that you need to do to actually learn, and then grow on a steady growth with the Chinese counterparts here. So if you're late, you missed the boat. If you're early, then gains are all for you to obtain. Now that's another statistic. Another one that you actually need to know, that the Chinese government have pledged $240 billion on entrepreneurship. The Chinese government have pledged $240 billion on entrepreneurship to support the Chinese economy here. That is massive amount of money that you can ever think of. What I'm trying to say is that every corner that you turn, there's money to be made. Every corner that you turn in China, there is money waiting to be tapped on. Now, another one that I want to share with you is that the cost of doing business in China is only 3.4% of the G20's rate. That's 3.4% of the G20's rate. The G20's rate is at 9.4%. It's very expensive to do business in the G20 countries, but in China it's only 3.4. So cost of doing business, very, very cheap. But you have to comply to the capital requirements and the restrictions that they have, depending again on the provinces that you are going to be doing business in. So this is something that I've already covered and spoke in the second video. We are here in the third one talking about brutal competition. The next statistic that I actually want to share with you is that there are 1 billion, I'm going to repeat myself, there are 1 billion mobile Chinese users. Anything online strikes gold. Anything online is diamond. If you can sell your products online, you can close eyes and then you can just make money. It's as easy as that. Okay, I do not know how to emphasize this anymore, but I'm just telling there are many ways and easy ways to actually make money, grow, expand, develop the economy of your business here in China to help the country grow as well. I'll give an example. If you have heard of the bike sharing company called Mobike, which is very grand and very big in China, started off in January of 2015, if I'm not mistaken, and after a year and a half in operation, the company has managed to raise 1.5 billion US dollars. That's a huge capital to actually have for them to expand in China and expand globally across all the continents that we have in the world here. And then every corner, that's why I said earlier on, every corner in China is something that you can actually consider doing your business, consider tapping into the resources and to do the business and to grow and develop from here. So these are a few statistics that I wanted to share with you, which is grand, which is massive, which is abundant, which is everything that you can actually think of to do, and this is something that you can really tap on. That's part one. Part two, I want to tell you about how I think growing here will be. If you have a product that is that can be used to actually facilitate growth, facilitate employment, facilitate future development, anything from, say, clean technology, anything from financial technology, anything which is online by nature, it's easy to do business here. If you can sell it online, go ahead, because there are 1 billion people in this country itself are accessed over the internet. Mobile is king. So if you can have such products or services which are here, then great. But you must also remember that the products and services that you're going to bring in, because we are talking about brutal competition, you may already have 600 such companies in China offering exactly what you are offering. So how do you actually beat the game? Now, I personally feel China is not a blue ocean strategy. China is a red ocean strategy. It gives you the ability to collaborate. It gives you the ability or the chance to actually understand, infuse yourself locally here, and then let the clan or the group assist you. Now, in the coming videos, I will talk about how the Chinese society is a collectivist. And what that means is that they work in groups. And because they work in groups, growth and cooperation is very easy. Right now, as far as brutal competition is concerned, if you are an outsider coming into China and you've got nobody here to assist you, then growth, expansion, boom, is nearly impossible. So you need to get yourself into this clan or into a cooperation circle that will actually help you grow and develop. Now, I tell businesses, and I tell this to many people who wants to come to do business here in China. You got to do your homework, and you got to do your homework right. You must know what are you offering. You must know how much are you willing to forego. You must know who's competing with you, who's competing against you, who can you actually collaborate with, who can actually stay far away from. So there are many tools that you can actually use. Like I said in the first video, you can actually pick up any of those strategic management textbook that is used in college or university, run through that exercise, and then be more prepared to position yourself properly in China. Now, I would start off by first understanding your internal factor assessment, your IFE or your IFA. Now, your internal talks about your strength and your weakness. This gives you an opportunity to identify what are you good at, what are you horrible at that you can actually improve. From there, you get to then the next step is actually to do your external factor evaluation or external factor assessment. This is where you talk and decide your threats and opportunities. How do you wish to grow, and what is actually stopping you from actually growing. Now, once you've done that, then when you put your IFE and your EFE together, both matrices together, you have a very nice comprehensive SWOT analysis. Simple as that. From here, then you move on to the next step. The next step is where you will actually be analyzing using what I call as the matching principle between the strength and opportunities and the weakness and the threat. Okay, so once you have done that matching to see what are you good at and what can you capitalize versus what are you weak and how you should stay away, or what are you weak to actually help grow and develop, then from here you are in a proper position to understand your own position to actually move into the Chinese market. When you've done that part, then you can move into the third or maybe the fourth step, depending on how detailed you actually go, is compare yourself with other companies who are already here, or compare yourself with the existing businesses that has already established in China. This is where you do a competition profile metrics. So you do your CPM that gives you an overview of what you have versus what the other company has. If you share similar trends, then why not collaborate? If you share similar weakness, then why not collaborate to learn? That's a possibility. If you share similar opportunities, then look at how big of a pie that you can actually take and also to give away. But if you share similar threats, then best is just walk away and not get involved in the first place. But you will also use these metrics, the CPM, to identify who will be your immediate competition, or who will be your immediate or your superior or even your inferior competitors, to give you a better edge into doing business in China. So that's one. Finally, you can use other metrics like QSPM. You can use many other analysis of business proposition or business positioning, either the one that comes from BCG or the one that comes from McKinsey or any other models that you actually wish to use, and then you can work out the dynamics and work out the growth from that angle. So that's the homework that you got to do. You don't necessarily have to do the homework just within your competition or within your sphere of industry. You got to do a larger spectrum of a few industries to know, because there are chances that you may cross into different sectors or different industries. So it's best to have a wider point of view of your positioning when doing business in China here. So that's the second part, what I want to share with you. The third part is where I say that when you want to come to China and do business, you got to be ready. China is ready for you. Are you ready for China? And if you're not ready for China, then you should be ready for China. With the list of statistics that I just read out to you and just shared with you, you know that the intensity of growth is big. The intensity to win is huge. The intensity to make money in volume is also large. And you will also need to know which province that you will be in to actually do business to actually grow and capitalize from here. What you just need to know is that when you are in China with its brutality to compete, you will need to know fundamentals of how to start business in China. I'll share with you that about starting businesses in China as far as regulation processes, commitments, financial commitments and everything in upcoming videos. But you just need to know for now is the capital requirement. And capital requirement can change from different tiers, different cities, different councils, different locations. So with this in mind, and because we are speaking about brutal competition, you will have to wear an enemy's cap. That's why I believe you wear an enemy's cap, thinking, re-strategizing, strategizing, reforming, whatever that needs to be done to reshuffle your mentality of doing business and getting exposed or coming into China and doing business here. It's a very big field to play with. The pie is huge. Take as much as you can, but remember, like the buffet line, can you eat everything that you take? It's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be impossible. It can be done if you properly do your homework. And when I say homework, I mean you have to see it to believe it. Statistics will tell you one thing. You have to be here to actually expose yourself, to actually see the brutality that is taking shape in terms of economic growth and business landscape that is changing in China. Okay. So speaking of brutality, now it's 2:25 p.m. and the temperature is 3 degrees Celsius. That is cold for me. Alright. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you had a nice time with this video. I hope you've learned something. Leave me comments, leave me questions so that I can get back to you with answers that you need. And till then, to the next video, you have a good time. You just stay focused. And then remember, there's always money to be made here in China. Till the next video, bye.